I'm Payton May, and I'll be following major races in states across the country. Rounding out our blue wall states is Wisconsin. Together with Michigan and Pennsylvania, these three swing states were Democratic strongholds before Donald Trump won them in 2016. Wisconsin has the least of the three with just 10 electoral votes, and currently with 56% of the vote reported in, has Donald Trump leading Kamala Harris by just 1 percentage point, 49% to 48%. Well, a lot of these college campuses are centered in cities that are predominantly going for Democratic candidates, right? We're looking at Philadelphia, we're looking at Madison, Wisconsin, and especially for Kamala Harris, her path to victory really runs through these states. We've talked about the blue wall states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin earlier today. The most likely path to 270 for Kamala Harris currently runs through these states. Donald Trump has already taken North Carolina at 16 electoral votes. We know that Pennsylvania, which has the most electoral votes out of the remaining swing states, is really going to be decisive in figuring out who wins tonight's election. So I think, to your point, they're really trying to spend a lot of time campaigning on these college campuses, turning out those voters in these more Democratic cities to hopefully flip those three states for Kamala Harris in her favor. We're not just talking about the presidential race tonight. We talked about Bernie Moreno flipping that Senate seat from Sherrod Brown. We also saw that Deb Fischer won re-election in Nebraska against Dan Osborne, despite polling that had Osborne up in the state prior to Election Day. He was running as an independent. He chose not to caucus with the Democratic Party. That was really his messaging, right? He was trying to appeal to more moderate independent voters, and I think he was really hopeful that he could flip that. But the incumbent Republican Senator Deb Fischer has won re-election in that state, which has flipped control of the Senate for Republicans. Trump's most likely path to victory runs through the Sunbelt states of Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina, which he's already won, as well as the Rust Belt states. If he wins Pennsylvania tonight, he would only need Georgia, as he's already won North Carolina, to reach exactly 270 electoral votes. Trump and Harris spent their final hours on the campaign trail yesterday in these 7 critical battleground states that we've mentioned. With less than 24 hours until polls closed, it was both candidates' opportunity to deliver their closing messages. I spoke with Dan Schnurr earlier this morning, who's an expert on campaign communications and political strategy. He shared a bit more about how each candidate's final remarks may influence today's results. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've talked about this entire election cycle, especially this week, that we probably will not know final vote counts tonight. And we've been trying, our elected officials have been trying to tell, individuals, constituents that they shouldn't be expecting to see results. We know in 2020, when Joe Biden won the state of Pennsylvania, that race wasn't called until Saturday. People went to bed on election night not knowing who would be the president. And so while these results are looking very tight, Donald Trump is leading in a lot of these states, this can all change, right? We're waiting on absentee ballots, mail-in ballots that are able to be counted as long as they've been postmarked by Election Day. All of these votes have the potential to flip these states and really, decide victory either way for each of these candidates.